Okay, I think it works. It might be a little bit slow, but we'll see. So, let's try to get the angle right. This is a kind of a weird setup, but hopefully I can get it correct. It'll just take some time for me to get it correct. Let's see. There's a bit of lag, but it's not terrible. That's not bad. That's not terrible. I'm okay with that. So what do we talk about? First day of fascist America. It's gonna be a little bit crazy, but I think things won't work out the way that Trump thinks they're gonna work out. So there's that. For every push, there's a pull. I think people forgot that. They think they can have whatever stupid idea they want and not be judged for it. And that's kind of crazy. So many stupid MAGA people are being harshly judged by their more intelligent family members. And the interesting thing is, the MAGA followers pretend like they're not affected by this. But ultimately it comes out later that they are the most affected. They're the ones that, I don't know how you would put this, but they can't handle rejection. It's kind of interesting. I was watching another stream just a few minutes ago, and somebody said that Trump is the weak person strong man. And that is 100% true. The only people that think Trump is intelligent tend to be the stupidest people in the society. And try not to knock on him so much. But if you're a stupid person, you essentially had 40 years to fix it. If you don't make an effort in those 40 or 50 years to fix what you know is a lack of intelligence, that's on you. And all your ideas that flow from that lack of intelligence, that's on you. And you are going to be held accountable for those ideas. And that accountability can take shape in many forms, whether it be through lack of friends or a lack of respect from family members. There's always a push to a pull. People have forgotten this. They think they can just continually poke an eye and there's going to be no I guess what you would call reverse action to it. There are consequences, and we will see what they are. I think it's going to be interesting. I really do. You're going to see a lot of restriction in a lot of different fields now. There's going to be a restriction in science. There's going to be a restriction in gender studies, there's going to be a restriction in general political science knowledge. And it's only gonna benefit people who are already intelligent. Because if you're already intelligent and you limit access to knowledge, you're only shrinking your pool of people you have to compete with, keeping the poor and stupid. That's generally the goal of any fascist nation, so that's how that's gonna go. It's gonna be quite interesting. One of the things I think is funny is yesterday people were live streaming Trump's inauguration and adding nothing to it. So, especially the veteran community, for whatever reason, thinks Trump is like a god. They were just live streaming his inauguration and not adding anything. So they got some cheap clicks, made some money. I find it hilarious that these people think that we're going to use the military to defeat the Mexican cartels. That's laughable. That's never going to happen. But the problem with society is, especially right now, there's no consequence for a stupid idea. I don't know why that went away, but the idea that we have to treat all ideas as equal or give them equal weight is insane. One of the benefits to being intelligent and to being somewhat of a thorn in people's side is that you can kind of express your points in kind of like a sniper way, where you don't have to say very much, but the words you choose pack a punch. And people really don't like that. But the more they don't like it, the more it shows that you heard them and that you're on the right track if you want to get your message across. I think it's interesting. People that stream, most of them are highly intelligent, and most of them are opinionated. So although they might have a following online, they probably don't have many friends, but that's okay. That's just the way it goes. The internet connection is really laggy, but it won't matter, because people will just watch this on playback anyway. I'm going to try to make it a goal to stream more. I had streamed in the past, but then I don't know, I just stopped, and I guess I went the video route instead. But I should pick the streaming up because it does kill some time and it's more free flowing than making videos. Also, you pick up a different audience through making streaming content as opposed to video content. So that's interesting. Also, there's not much to do during the day. If you're disabled, I think the most difficult thing to do is to become a personality. But I think that that's the only way that you have any shot of success, because there is no success to be had in a job, and there's no success to be had just sitting reading. So if you're smart enough to have thought processes, then I always try to stream, let people know. I wonder why the internet connection is so bad. I guess we'll never know. I always have problems with it. It's probably the internet package. But, oh well. Also I think conductivity changes based on the webcam you use, which is interesting. Electronics is so hit or miss. People love it or they hate it. That's the way it goes. Let's see. You know what's going to be pretty funny is when Trump suddenly gets credit for the stock market highs that have been going up for 2 years. It's going to be pretty interesting. But, like I said, I think there's going to be a future that he didn't plan for. Also, I don't understand how TikTok gets all the issues when you have content on X that should not be there in any shape or form, and nobody seems to care. It's pretty crazy how that works. Just like they got a content moderation chief, and that helps some of the problem. But the problem still exists. It's not going anywhere. It's not going away. There's too much money to be made through X and promotion on X. You can make so much money. Quite easily too, if you're in the right space. X has just become an adult content machine. That's all it is. It only exists for that purpose, to make those people richer and richer. It's relatively easy too. Like if you stick with it, it's relatively easy. Of course, you have to have the body type for it, but it's not particularly difficult. I think the biggest hurdle is that people just have a negative image attached to it. If they could get over that, I think it would be something useful for them. Especially people with disabilities. Like, you're not going to do much anyway in the society. There's no image to protect. And with no image to protect, you can do whatever you want. So, why don't you do something easy where you can get notoriety pretty quickly? Because trust me, you're not getting notoriety through YouTube. It can happen, but it's gonna take you 10 years. It's much quicker to do it a faster, easier, funner way. But that's just the way I feel about it. I'm sure a bunch of people feel that they have real moral objections to adult content work. But I would argue that those people have a psychological hang up and they're not that interesting either. Have you noticed that in this society people are just so absolutely boring? Like, yeah, okay, we might be the richest nation on earth, but we are some of the most boring people to inhabit the planet. Everything we own is plastic. There's no real value to it. I mean, just look at X. Musk overpaid for that thing. There was no way it was ever worth that much. Everything is fake and inflated. Nothing has true value. And the true value content of the world can't be found anyway, because it's being suffocated by all the garbage content. I mean, if you just look at my channel and the content on there, it should be way more highly valued than it is. It should be given out to millions and millions and millions of people. But so far, I haven't cracked 1 million impressions. Like 760,000, that's cool. But it should be much more than that. My thumb is giving me issues. But who knows? I have noticed that there is no community among the disabled at all. There's more of a community in essentially every genre of life, but there is no community in the disabled community. I'm not sure why either. It's probably maybe because it's too varied. It's not concentrated enough. But I guess ultimately it doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, you're all alone anyway. Nobody's there to save you, help you in any way. Everyone can walk away. You're the only one that is stuck in it. That is stuck. And that's how depression leads to things like sociopathy. But there's no fix for that. Let's see. 21 minutes? Huh. Interesting. Almost 11:30. It's pretty early. My sleep schedule is all messed up. I sleep 3 hours, wake up, and then sleep another like 3 or 4 hours during the day. That's not how it should be. That's how it is. It's pretty funny. You watch political streamers. They essentially talk about nothing, and they have so many people in their chat. Basically, whatever they talk about is essentially, I want to say, reversed within 3 days, because they don't leave enough time for things to play out. It's all reactionary. It's all reactionary. But reactionary stuff now gets clicks. But reactionary stuff now. Clicks generate money. Gets clicks. And clicks generate money. Reactionary content is the way. Reactionary content is the way. And that's how it goes. That's why other countries are better. That's why other countries are better. Slower pace doesn't allow for reactionary content. Slower pace doesn't allow for reactionary content. That's why I find it so hard to make content. That's why I find it so hard to make. I don't know how people do it. Content every day. I don't know how people do it. Justifiably tell yourself you've come up with a good idea. Justifiably tell yourself you've come up with a good idea every single day that should be shared. I don't get it. Like, this is a little different than making a video. I don't get it. Like, this is a little different than making a video to convey a brilliant idea. Don't necessarily need, but to convey a brilliant idea. I can't justify. But making a video every day, I just can't justify. I tell myself I have a good idea. Making a video every day to express, because I tell myself I have a good idea to express, because that's not the truth. Yeah, you can make YouTube shorts of whatever. But yeah, you can make YouTube shorts of whatever. At least for me. But once I reach a certain physical level, where I was able to. Once I reached a certain physical level, where I was able to. I just walk inside. I don't really see a level past that. So I don't really see a level past that. So the journey is over. You could try to walk down the stairs, walk up the stairs. You could try to walk down the stairs, walk up the stairs. Risk reward there is not. But the risk reward there is not favorable. It's not. You might be able to do it. But if you can't, you might be able to do it. But if you can't, end up with a third fall down the stairs, or worse, end up with a third concussion, or worse, and it's just not worth it. So The stream is really
laggy today.
The stream is really
It seems
laggy
to be like
today. 45 seconds
It seems
behind.
to be like
45 seconds behind. Oh well. I hope the volume.
I hope
is
the
sufficient.
Let's see.
The volume is
If I can get-
sufficient.
Let's see.
Any
If I can get
feeling on that? Any feeling on that? Oh. I don't know. Oh.
the
I don't know.
the live stream on the OBS end is
The live stream on the
OBS
Normal.
is
So I don't
actually
know why. Normal. So I don't know why.
it's lagging on the YouTube end.
I don't know why
It's
but
lagging on the
I don't know.
YouTube end.
There's only so much that can be done. That's the problem with being poor, or at least middle class. You're always restricted by the environment around you. You can't change your environment enough to have things the way you want. It's kind of sad. Because, I'll tell you, rich people don't play in that environment. If they don't like something, they just leave. Seems like a pretty cool way to live. It was pretty funny yesterday when Elon did his Nazi salute. Every thing on Twitter was referencing that for like 4 hours. He destroyed his reputation for an orange buffoon and some money. One of the things that's going to be pretty funny is all these poor and middle class people sold out their moral code for a perceived paycheck that they think is going to be bigger. But even if they do make a little more money, they're still going to act like they're angered by their economic situation, because that's just how it is. People are never satisfied no matter what you do. Just look at the stock market now. Biden had it up at like 40,000, the Dow Jones, for like a year, and nobody cared, because all they talked about was inflation, which was middling. If you actually knew anything about relative international relations, you would know that our inflation problem was about middle in the global sphere. But Americans don't think like that, because Americans are stupid and they have no patience for understanding statistics or international relations of any sort. Americans really are one of the stupidest people or group of people on the planet. I think too much money makes you stupid. Too much money overall makes you stupid. But we'll see, because China is fast approaching, so that's fun. Their economic growth rate was I think the IMF just said 5% last year. So China's approaching, and all of MAGA can freak out with their irrational fear of China. I think it's pretty funny that all this time, and they still have no solid evidence of a Chinese lab leak of COVID-19. It's like, they just say a bunch of shit and have no evidence to back it up and just move to the next stupid thing and have no evidence to back that up either. But they're so comfortable in their stupidity and just their way of life. They never get fact checked. You try to fact check them and they just don't care. There's definitely a class war, a pseudo class war going on in America. A class war or just an intellectual war, but it's not good. Society is only going to get more complex. So the people that can't play on an intellectual level are going to be relegated to shit jobs, and they're just going to cry about it more and more and more. So there's no fix. I guess you just run it out till another war starts and just kind of level set the situation. Because really that's what wars do. Wars serve as a level set. Yeah, war is about land and resources, but on a deeper level, it serves as a societal reset. And society could definitely use a reset right now. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Interesting times. YouTube is not a very interactive place. There are a few other platforms which are very interactive. YouTube is not an interactive place. It might be when you reach a very high threshold. But for the majority of people, YouTube is not an interactive place. It's more of, I don't know, like a niche place. But if you want to be less charitable, you would call it like a black hole. I kind of like black hole more than niche. Because I think it's more reflective of the majority of YouTube channels. Because a lot of YouTube channels are pointless. They're not niche at all. They have no real message to push. Society would not be better or worse for their continued existence. That's one of the things that's interesting with this stupid society we live in now. You notice as soon as someone dies, someone important dies, nobody brings them up ever again. Just like they could have been the most important person living 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago, and then nobody talks about them ever again. It's a symptom of such a fake, useless society. But that's what we live in now. And then we wonder why we have so many mass shooters. It's sad. Ultimately, I think either you just have to be one of those people that just develops a skill and goes to a job every day and just does that and has their mediocre family, or you really gotta get lucky and be like the top 50 in your chosen entertainment industry and really just kick it in and enjoy that life. Because otherwise, there's nothing to be had for you. Someone told me that my YouTube channel is good, but that the reason it doesn't grow is because the message is too hard to hear. It's too real for people. That's probably true. That's a really good description. But I don't respect channels that just take other people's content and just compile it all into one video and then say, oh, look at me, look at what I did. I don't respect people that take other people's content and just add the tiniest bit of nuance to it and then call it a fair use and then make all the money off that. I think fair use is a stupid concept, and I can't believe that corporations haven't tried to crack down more on that. Maybe the Supreme Court will knock it down. I could see Trump trying to do that. Although he would be in violation of it too. Because his stupid platform is a rip-off of Twitter. Even just look at all the scams he tries to pull with his stupid meme coins. It's all just a cash grab. That's all the stupid society is now. It has no overarching purpose. Its purpose is to be a cash grab. And grab the cash while you can. Although I don't really see how that improves your life in any meaningful way. If you live in an artificial environment that you created, you're just spinning on a wheel. You wouldn't be so money hungry if you didn't live in such a artificially inflated environment where out of nowhere a house that should be worth $200,000 is suddenly worth $500,000 for no apparent reason at all. It's nonsense. There's no real reason for that other than people wanted it that way and they made it that way. I don't see how a house that gets older every year appreciates in value. A car doesn't appreciate in value. Why does a shitty house appreciate in value? Just because it gets older, and maybe you could argue, I don't know, the area got a little bit better, so we can jack up the price of the house. It's crazy. And why would you even want to live in the shitty suburbs anyway, where everything is so far away and there's absolutely no sense of community? I don't understand why people want to do that. And then people end up getting shot when they quote unquote trespass on people's land. It's insane. People are way more isolatory than I thought they were. And that's sad. I don't know why it's like that. Maybe 20 years of war messed with people's brains, I don't know. It probably did. If you could run back history and not have the towers fall, you probably have a much different life now. The Republicans definitely would not be so stupid and reactionary. They would still exist. But there's no way Trump would be president now. Because the stupidity that flows through their veins now would not be allowed back then. Those people would get kicked out if they even reached the level of being on a ballot and actually winning a seat in Congress. They'd be kicked out. But I think the war on terror made everybody extremely reactionary. So, at the end of the day, the Republicans want to cry about the Taliban taking over some military equipment because they're stupid and not able to think long term. But ultimately, Taliban won changing our mind frame. So they won the long game. Have you ever noticed how shallow and stupid a MAGA thought is? Like, there's two ways to pick it apart. One, you do 5 minutes of research, or you just go a level deeper and they have no answer. If you go a level deeper, they'd never have an answer. Because at the end of the day, they don't even know definitions of words. So, if you're at the stumbling block, not even knowing definitions of words, there's not much you can do. Like, people rag on school and say it's not necessary, but at bare minimum, school teaches you definitions of words and the importance of meaning of words. Because if you don't have that, then all you've got is to say everything is made up everything is a hoax. I knew the conspiracy was correct. There's a reason Professor Dave's channel is taking off like a rocket. He benefits so much from just making fun of stupid people who believe in flat Earth and a bunch of other stupid nonsense. His channel is really funny to watch. Especially now, because he's getting way more comfortable with just trashing people. I think more people should be like that. If you're in the position to know more, then take the gloves off and just trash people. Because those people have no intention of trying to learn from you anyway. So, just trash them for your own amusement. Just have a drink and just trash them for your own amusement. For your 3 million followers. Seems like a good approach to a successful YouTube career. It'd be pretty fun too. Like, I generally don't like reaction videos, but I think that's pretty fun. I enjoy that. Because he does add his own flair to it. He spends a lot of time correcting their stupid bullshit. And it's pretty fun to watch. There's a difference. People do that politically with lesser success. I think with science it's a little bit easier to just totally, I don't know, pick apart people's brains. Like, if people aren't going to understand why water doesn't fall off a spinning planet, then I don't know. If they can't understand the very fundamentals of gravity, I don't know. I think that's just ripe for people to make fun of. It'd be better if those people had like a genetic mutation which made it impossible for them to carry on their genetics. But it doesn't seem to be the case. But even in this capitalistic society, those stupid people have found a way to have a following. So it is possible. It is possible to gain a following in any aspect of life. You just gotta find your people, I guess. Although that is surprisingly very difficult. I don't know if it's just psychology or what it is, really. But people don't want to give you a shot until you're already somewhat established. If you take X, for example, with 200 followers, you're not taken seriously. With 1,200 followers, you're not taken seriously. With 200,000 followers, you can make a living off that. But, and there's no magic formula. There's nothing that separates someone that has 200 followers or 1,200 followers from somebody that has 200,000. They're not much different. There's nothing remarkable about the 200,000 follower person. I've talked to those people and I'm not really impressed. It's just kind of the way it goes, I guess. Some people have better timing than others. They try something earlier in life than others. And stuff just works out for them. Let's see. Text message. Hopefully you would hope that everything works out for everybody, but it doesn't seem to be the case. There needs to be a special circumstance, and unfortunately some people never get that special circumstance. But I don't know. There's always the hope that you get it, I guess. You would think that as you gain more of a following, your chances of success increase. But I haven't really seen that. It's more just the same. People think that there's always people looking out for you, and people really care about your message. People are going to help you. That's not how it goes. I think people care about their friends in their circle, and that's it. People don't extend the circle. Which is funny because people think Trump being president again is going to help their kind of pathetic life, make a little more money, be substantially better. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he cares about being rich, he cares about having notoriety, he cares about his rich friends and being in good standing with them. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about people that can't even make $200,000 a year. If you think he really cares about those people, you're blind. He doesn't care if you make $1 million a year. He doesn't care about you. He's not going to care about you if you make less than $200,000 a year. That's just basic. But he is a con artist and has been able to trick people for, I don't know, a good 30 years. So, this is what we get as a result. Unfortunately, there's always a market for a con artist. I think in this society though, con artists thrive. Because we have an unhealthy relationship with fantasy. An unhealthy relationship. And thinking that the freedoms we enjoy mean that we have the potential to change our life. That's not how it goes. If you want to change your life, you need to do something exceptional. If you don't do something exceptional, then your life's not going to be changed in any way. What's going to happen is you're going to run your mediocre life, you're going to have mediocre kids, and they're going to have mediocre kids, until one person in that chain decides they want to do something extraordinary, or at least try to do something extraordinary. People make fun of people that want to sing or do something like that, be an artist, but at least those people are striving to be expressive and, in their own way, be extraordinary. Other people are not wired that way. You ever just listen to people talk? Like, a lot of them are the most boring people. A lot of them, especially uneducated people, are so absolutely incredibly boring. They have nothing more to say than, this person annoyed me today, or I made $500 today. They have nothing of interest to talk about. There are people that I know, that I listen to or I talk to. Everything they say is so very uninteresting to me. Absolutely everything. Nothing they say is of any interest to me. And you just live with it. You're just stuck here. Because everyone worth anything left this area a long time ago. When we all graduated college, everybody worth anything, just being a college town, left. And there's nobody left. Nobody worth anything remains. It's so sad. Even the people that weren't extraordinary left. Because at least they had sense to realize that their life wasn't going to improve, and maybe at least it could be somewhat more interesting somewhere else. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of places, but this just being a college town really shows you how that plays out. This is a good place if you want to go to college, but you only stay for 4 years, then you're out. This is not like Boston or Los Angeles or really any of those places that have any population. But you only stay for 4 years, then you're out. And then they stay in the community and build the community. This is not like Boston, place where, or Los Angeles, or Connecticut, or really any of those places from your that have any population, where people go to school, New Jersey, and then they stay in the community and build the community. Go to the city. This is a place where people come from Connecticut, leave entirely. maybe they're from here originally, that I grew up with, from New Jersey, worth anything. They come here, get their education, go to the city. I don't. I think that's after that, or they leave entirely. I don't know anyone country that I grew up with culture worth saving, worth anything. There's nothing worth fighting for. Here. So why don't we just have? I don't. I think that's the signal of huge swaths of the country just die out. A dying plastic country, and that's the way it goes. There's no culture worth saving. There's nothing worth fighting for. So why don't we just have to know if that's the case in other countries? But huge swaths of the country just cultured die out, and you won't have such a. And that's the way it goes. Such a desire to just leave. Like, one of the things that's going to be interesting with Trump re-emerging in his fascist ways is the immigrants that are going to have to leave. Maybe they're better off leaving, going back to their more cultured countries. I don't know. Let's see how many times this stream's been recommended. It's probably like 50. Which is not enough. Let's see. It doesn't say yet. But it will be interesting to find out. That thumbnail is one of the pictures my friend took. He's good at getting aerial shots. He likes his drone. His drone is his favorite. I had an actual hobbyist helicopter, much harder than a drone, and I crashed it and broke it within 2 minutes. That's when I learned that drones are much easier to fly. I did not know that before. That's what you call an expensive lesson to learn. But, oh well. If you don't take off on a level surface, it doesn't fly correctly, and it tilts, and you don't get any clearance off the ground, and the blades just smack the ground and you're done. It was annoying too, because I had to get parts from China to even charge the batteries for it, and that took forever for something that was destroyed in like 2 minutes.
Oh well. Expensive lesson. It amazes me what a continuous what a continuous stream of just nonsense on X looks like. People literally make a living just reposting other people's content. It's insane. So they just scroll Twitter and hit the repost button as if that's actually doing anything. But people make a following that way. And you can't make money literally promoting other people's content. It's pretty funny talking to people when you have a disability and they're like, well, you can do this and this and this. And ultimately, you just shoot them down because they're missing a piece. My friend was like, well, you can just work at your own pace and sell some stuff. It's like, yeah, I guess you could. But why would you want to contribute to this stupid nonsense, materialistic bullshit that this country runs on? You're just gonna sell a bunch of shit nobody needs. Contribute to the plastic problem that we have. It's gonna be pretty telling, but it won't be surprising if they ever come out and say or find that autism has a link with plastic exposure. I don't know if they're gonna reach that finding, but that would not be surprising in any way. You have like some plastic off-gassing into our water or our food that just completely alters the DNA of some chromosomes, and then you get autism as a result. I think it's pretty crazy that now it's gonna be more so in the future. But now they're saying that up to 30% of cerebral palsy cases could have a genetic link or a genetic factor at play. Even cases where the cause of CP is brain damage caused by asphyxia, which would be crazy. That is one of those things that would totally reshape our understanding of life and disease and kind of put us back on our heels. People don't need to believe in God. They need a better understanding of science. I don't understand why you would believe in a mythical legend and put so much stock in that when there's so much actual stuff to know and to learn about, to better understand a world that you can actually touch and feel. Like, yeah, there could be a world outside of this one, but why are we speculating in any way? And why do we give those people any power over how we feel about life? I could see how that took shape, but it's all rooted in fear and bullshit. It's not rooted in anything other than that. But yet, Catholics think the Pope is infallible and that he has a direct line to God. It's crazy. Your relation to the universe or an outside world should be yours and yours alone. You should have more creativity than just go along with whatever a bunch of people say. Have some imagination and some creativity of your own, because I guarantee that's going to be closer to the actual reality than anything an organized group of idiots have to say. Who just did it to establish a moral code and just impose restrictions on people. I mean, I guess in a way, it leads to a more ordered society, but only ordered in the way you want. Who's to say that's correct or moral in any way? To force religion on people directly or indirectly, that's going to be another stupid sticking point with this administration. They have schools now that are putting in public school a prayer session, which is insane. It's like, okay, so in the southern states, there is going to be no such thing as the separation of church and state. The southern states are filled with the stupidest people in this country, and yet everybody wants to move there because the weather's better, even though their houses are going to get destroyed by floods and hurricanes. People up north, like the uneducated people up north that are barely scraping by because they decided to have 5 kids and have an impressive job, and then think they're going to just move down south when they get older. I don't think they realize how absolutely stupid southern people are. And the only way to have a good life in the south is to not be one of those stupid people. It's to be one of those people that are already millionaires and then you move down south. But if you are moving down south because you're retired, you're not going to be one of those people that has money. You're going to be one of the stupid people in Florida that has no money, and you end up living in some rednecks sectioned off housing. Because you're not living with the millionaires. You might live beside the millionaires, but you're not living with the millionaires. This country is crazy. So many people are delusional and think that the shitty choices they've made in life should be rectified, or there should be no consequence to their shitty choices. And even though I made a shitty choice, I should still make enough money to have this and that and this and that. Like, no. There are consequences to your shitty choices in your shitty life. Like, that's just the way it goes. You want to make money, develop a skill people actually care about, and do that thing. Like, yeah, if people are stupid now and they care about websites for no reason, then be a web developer. Do that because that's where the money is. If people care about something else in 50 years, do that. Don't do something nobody cares about and expect to have an okay life. Or don't expect to have a job that can be done by a robot and have an okay life. Don't expect to have a job that relies on the government to have an okay life. If you have a job where you're relying on government work, then you screwed yourself. Like, you made that choice. You probably did it unwittingly, but you made that choice. And now you suffer the consequences. Government is not designed to be an efficient moneymaker for you. It's designed to serve the purpose of the public. That's it. So if you have a job that's relying on that, just know that you're serving the public and not your bank account. I don't know. People are so stupid. Like, there's an expression. I'm gonna make my own though, but it follows from the expression that everybody knows. It's like 2 minutes of thought could save you so much heartache. Just sit back and think. Think about your next move. Don't be so reactionary. Sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something the wrong way. I argue that it takes discipline to do nothing. Because there's an impulse to always be moving, to always change the environment in some way. But that's not always the answer. And it's especially not the answer if you have a disability. That's like one of the things that's not available to you. Is to change your environment. The only way to change your environment is to be no longer existing on the planet. But that's why suicide is so appealing. Other people can just kind of, I don't know, get in their car, move with a friend, work at, I don't know, what's a chain store, work at Best Buy, and just do that. But the rules are a little bit different for the disabled. They are not afforded that option. There's really only one option they are afforded. But in the meantime, why don't you express your opinions? Maybe that works out. Probably not. But there's a shot. It's pretty funny. Could you imagine how much differently 2x2 would be if Kamala Harris got a little bit more votes and ended up winning? Their whole right-wing experiment they're playing now would not be a thing. And they would be so happy otherwise. So happy. It's like I don't like the idea when Harris lost. They're like, oh, the Democratic Party needs to change, the Democratic Party's to blame. Yeah. Biden could have let people know after the first 2 years he wasn't gonna run, giving the Democrats 2 years to find somebody else. That could have happened. That would have helped a lot. That didn't happen. But that doesn't mean the Democrats need to change their message. There's nothing the Democrats need to do. What needs to happen is people need to get educated. People need to get smarter. It's not the fault of the Democrats that this country is absolutely stupid. That's not a democratic failing. That's a educational country failing where people literally you can hear them when they read. You can literally hear in their voice that they don't understand what they're reading. If you don't understand what you're reading, you're useless. If you can't read something and understand what it means, you're useless in a lot of ways. We have an education problem, which leads to con men successfully becoming president twice. That doesn't mean there's a democratic problem. I don't know if education is just too difficult for a lot of people. But, I mean, even with me it was difficult. If you have a learning disability and everything is slower than it should be, and you spend hours and hours and hours doing homework, yeah, it's gonna suck. But you still do it. And these people that are stupid and could care less about education could work faster, but just don't care. They didn't care to learn in the first place. They don't care now. And they have such a warped perception of the way society should treat them. It's like there are consequences. You are facing the consequences now. People want to live a consequence-free life. There's no such thing as a consequence-free life. It doesn't exist. And yet, they want to blame illegal immigrants and other criminals for their problems, as if those illegal immigrants and those criminals should face consequences that are more extreme. I guess, yes, the consequences would be more extreme. But regular people are also facing consequences. They're just indirect, so they're not as attributable to stupid people. But if you're smart, you can see the link. It's pretty simple. Could you imagine if I was a famous person and talking like this? It would make so much news on Twitter. It would be so fun. Almost an hour and a half. That's AI. I don't know what that is. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. That's AI. That's how you know that adult content has infiltrated X to such a great degree. So I have 200 followers on X, and I'm following 41 people, right? And just in the 30 minutes or 15 minutes that I was looking at something else and now looking at X, I've been recommended or have been shown 141 posts just for my 41 followers, which are all adult film people. That shows you how much X is infiltrated by that one industry. X exists for that one industry. If you took that industry away from X, X would be less than it is now. It would almost be nothing. Like, people say X has the advertisement problem now. If you took adult content away from X, the platform would be nothing. It would just be, the only thing that would remain would be just MAGA nonsense. That's it. There would be nothing else. Another thing that's really interesting coming off that is when the Supreme Court decides that they're going to destroy the adult film industry by putting an age verification on adult websites. That's going to destroy that industry. The only thing it's going to do is going to make it easier for individuals to, I guess, be more pervasive in that industry. Once they take down the giants, all you're going to have left are these little individual people trying to make their $5. It's going to be it's going to be pretty funny. You can be, let's see, here's an example, right? So right now, on OnlyFans, I know some people don't care about this, I'll just tell you. Right now on OnlyFans, I'm in the top 45%, okay? I've made almost $80 this month. So, people are making less than that. Okay, they're making less than $80, and yet they're still trying to do it. Like, that's cool for them, but that just shows you how hard it is. People have a warped perception of the difficulty of certain things and how, I guess, prolific or important they are. But, yeah, it's interesting. Won't want that. Yeah, they make too much money off that. Musk will start his own company. Musk will start his own porn company. Yeah. He probably would too. And it would be excluded from all Trump regulations. Like, they would find a way to tell the evangelicals to go away, and they would just do whatever they wanted. Yeah, that is a good point. Because you only have to placate the evangelicals just until you win the election, then you can tell them to go away. Especially now. Unless you just, I mean, I don't know. He doesn't need any more money from them. He can get money other ways through stupid meme coins. And still buy his stuff anyway. Because they have money to just burn, I guess. I don't know. Really though, the only way to make money on that platform, on OnlyFans, is to be in the top 5%. If you're not in the top 5%, that's it for you. They will convince. That's it. Yeah, I could see that. No longer sinful. Yeah, like God directly spoke to Trump. Trump is the new pope, the new Catholic pope, and he has told Trump that the porn industry is no longer a sin, and that as long as there's money to be made, money inherently makes things righteous. So everything attached to money is now righteous, and it's all good. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, Trump doesn't have $3 billion. He now has $30 billion because God said so. I don't know what he's gonna do because he doesn't have much. He doesn't have much more time, so he can only use that money for so long. At least Musk is young. He can theoretically use his money for a long time. Trump's almost done. Did you see? I saw some of the pictures from yesterday, and Trump does look a lot older than he did 4 years ago. Like his face, he's got old man face now. I took pleasure in that. Because the orange mask he puts on can only do so much. They can only hide so much. Especially around the eyes. The eyes look droopy. And if you see how he walks, like he almost walks like he has a disability now. Like the way he walks, his head is so hunched over. Like he walks almost with a hunched over top portion of his back. Like he's lurching forward. Like he can't walk and stand straight. He always walks with an arching lean. So yeah. That was nice to see. And you know his wife can't wait. His wife is all for that. Take that money and go on a permanent vacation. Although she's already banging everybody else. There's no way that she's having sex with him. No way. But I don't know. I don't understand how he thinks he's just gonna end birthright citizenship. Like, they're not gonna get the votes for that. Republicans have less control of Congress now than they did before the election, so I don't see birthright citizenship going away. I think birthright citizenship should be a thing in every country, not just here. I think if you get somebody pregnant from another country and they have a kid in that country, that kid should be a citizen of that country. I think that should be a rule. Well, it doesn't have to be a rule, I just think that should be the way it is. It's gonna be funny though, when China does take over and America is objectively not the #1 economic power in the world. I think our entire perception of ourselves is going to be devastated, and I hope I'm alive to see that day. Because I don't think it's that far off. Yeah, they have more people, but I think just the sheer knowledge that we're not number one would be pretty funny. I don't understand how he thinks he's gonna have a golden age when he kicks out all the migrants who do all the field work and pick all our food. That doesn't seem very golden age. But we'll see. Seems like a lesson that's going to be hard learned when the economy collapses. But there is something that can be learned from it. Maybe we'll get an appreciation for immigrants again. That would be nice. To develop an appreciation for immigrants again. To know that the 5 people that Fox News picks on a daily basis for being criminals is not representative of their way of life. And to know that immigrants perform a vital function in not only this society, but every society. But Republicans will never admit that anyway. They'll always stick to the 5 people that are criminals and plaster them on the news. Because that is the Fox News business model. And that is what they do. Just like X survives on the porn industry, Fox News survives on generating fear. Fox News survives on make people as scared as possible. Generating fear. That way. Generate as much fear if something goes wrong. You can blame people as scared as possible. Blaming other people that way is always much more fun than blaming yourself for your stupid choices. If something goes wrong, you can blame other people. And blaming other people is always much more fun than blaming yourself for your stupid choices you made. And push and pull. Those are the 2 things I wish people understood. It all comes down to choices. And push and pull. Those are the 2 things I wish people understood. See, streaming is more fun than making videos. You can just talk about whatever you want. Videos are cool too. See, streaming is more fun than making videos. In a different way. You can just talk about whatever you want. You have to have videos. Videos are cool too. And the way I like to make videos, but they're cool in a different way. You have to have like 3 or 4 You have to have a real message. And the way I like to make videos, they're so connected. It's just a difficult ask. That you have to have like 3 or 4 ideas. I wish there was 3 or 4 ideas. It's just a difficult ask. But it's not impossible. But I wish it was an easier thing. That's basically my motto. Quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. YouTube went wrong when YouTube decided they were going to... That's basically my motto. Quality over quantity. YouTube, quantity over quality. YouTube went wrong. You needed to make a video when YouTube decided they were going to... useless to them. That's when they went wrong. Quantity over quality every single day. When you needed to make a video every day, or you were useless to them. It amazes me. That's when they went wrong. I have 171 subscribers. You don't need to make a video every single day. If I don't make a video, value. Like, it amazes me how I have 171 subscribers here 100 times a day. Yet if I don't make a video, I still get views off those 100 recommendations. But YouTube channel only gets recommended 100 times a day. And I still get views off those 100 recommendations. That is, but it's just consistent with the YouTube channel. It should be recommended more than 100 times for the value that is, for just the nature alone, consistent with the YouTube channel. Should be recommended more than 100 times per day. For just the nature alone, it should be recommended, but thousands of times per day. There's always a surprise. Things never work out the way you think they're going to work out, even in situations where everything is running perfectly. There's always a surprise. You could have one day things never work out the way you think they're going to work out, shifts everything. Even in situations where and changes things. Everything is running perfectly. You could have one day of news that just totally shifts everything, keeps life refreshed, and changes things for at least a while. Keeps an otherwise stagnant environment. I don't know. I guess that keeps life refreshed. Fluid. And fluidity is important. Keeps an otherwise stagnant environment. Because fluidity, I guess, is the way the brain refreshes itself. And fluidity is important and decides that we're not just going to become an acidic pool of matter. Because fluidity, I guess, is the way the brain refreshes itself. And decides that we're not just going to become an acidic pool of matter. So I'm just watching my stream, and I just saw when I was laughing, which was when we were talking about Musk taking over the porn industry. That was a while ago, so we're really far behind here. At least what I'm looking at. So it'll be interesting to see how lagged out everything is. It will be a golden age for developers. Yeah, that's true. A golden age for the 0.5%. Yeah. I don't know. People are so deluded now. They have such weird expectations. I feel bad for the people that buy lottery tickets and have any hopes that that lottery ticket is going to change their life in any way. Even if they make $200 off that lottery ticket, there are so many times where you lost that you're in the negative. Okay. So here's the problem with this stupid economic system that we live in, okay? So I've made like $1,200 off the porn that I've done, just to add it up. That's what I have right now. But there's no way to take $1,200 and make that worth anything. You can't do that. The only thing you could do is to gamble, like literally gamble, and hope that you could turn it into $2,000. There's no other way to do that. And that's why gambling is so pervasive. Because they've literally made no other way for you to have a jump like that. A jump like that in the stock market is not possible. Not in the short run anyway. Unless you're going to short a stock. But you're not shorting stocks with $1,200. The only way that I could have had a different life, which would be totally possible, back when I graduated college in 2013, would be if you somehow knew Bitcoin was going to take off and just invest all your money in Bitcoin. Yeah, I would have a totally different life. And the economic system of just hope and pray, and maybe one person gets lucky and struck by lightning would apply to me. But no, that's not how an economic system should work. It shouldn't be so hit or miss. If you have a hit or miss system, you have a failing system. It's almost as if maybe a socialist society or a communistic society would be better off for the majority of the people, even if they ultimately live in lesser conditions. At least maybe their psychological state wouldn't be so fucked up. Because our psychological state in America is fucked up. Like, how many mass shootings are we just going to ignore all the time? Just like, oh, another one today at a school. Kids got shot, kids died. But look at the Dow Jones today. The Dow Jones are plastic society. And I don't think having your mental institutions or your psychiatric institutions come back would help that either. Because then you just have a bunch of people locked up in hopelessness, and that doesn't help either. Blaming other people, keeping the masses divided. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just saw it today. They took down Milley's picture in the Pentagon. So he's relegated to the dustbin. But he got a pardon, so they can't touch him now. So that's good. Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Watch Musk have his own private army. I can see that happening. Musk is gonna have his own private army, and they're not gonna be hamstrung by regulation because there's his own private army. It's gonna be like Blackwater. Blackwater with Eric Prince, whose sister ran the education department, which is absolutely insane. A religious nut ran the education department. I wonder who's going to do it now. I don't know. Don't they want to get rid of that anyway? So there might not even be one to run. Yeah, they want to go even a step further and just get rid of it. Like, it's totally unnecessary and stupid. Yeah. And then they'll go another step and get rid of the EPA, because that's going to interfere with their ability to drill for oil, which we already do, which we're already doing in mass numbers. But I don't know. Maybe they'll want to nuke some. Maybe they want to nuke some groundwater this time. Do some nuclear testing, and regulations get in the way, so we gotta knock out the EPA. Because who wouldn't mind some radioactive material in some groundwater? That's a really cool thumbnail. I like that one. That was, I was with my friend when he took that. That's Bruno Sand Dunes National Park in Idaho. Yeah, let's get rid of that video, because that AI video is disturbing. Did you see Elon's Nazi tweet yesterday? That's crazy. It's just like randomly decides you're gonna do that, and then thinks nobody's gonna have an issue with it. Like, if you wanted to actually, I don't know, make an effort not to have the worst optics ever, don't do that on day one, and then don't have Trump have a hate speech, um, I guess speech, literally hours after he takes the oath of office. Like, it's nuts. They're making no attempt to even show any semblance of any bit of a great society. It's all just quote white nationalism. And yet the people that voted for him don't even know what white nationalism is. But whatever. Like, if you want to be a white nationalist, I guess that's fine. But at least admit that's what you're doing. Like, don't play stupid and then be shocked when you see the results of white nationalist policies. I almost respect people that outright say they're white nationalists more than people that fake it and won't admit that's what they are. Because at least those people, you know where they stand. You know they're not lying to you. But people don't mind if they're lied to. It's really strange. If you lie to me and I catch you and I know you're lying, you're essentially worthless. Like, that's my new opinion of you. If I catch you lying to me, is you're worthless and you're gonna stay worthless. And there's essentially nothing you can do to change that. But a lot of people, I guess now, don't care if they're lied to, and that is wild to me. That is insane. Like, have some standing ground. Stand on something that matters to you more than your paycheck, which you think should be higher because you think you do a more important job than you actually do. I don't know. That's what this country needs. That's what the people of this country need. They need to stand on something that actually matters. Because apparently, overrunning the Capitol and trying to kill the vice president at the time is okay with them. Pardoning those people that did that is okay with them. Taking away someone's 20-year sentence is okay with them because they don't even know what any of that means. They don't know. They think, oh, Trump is not responsible for that specifically, so that whole fake electors thing that I have no idea what you're talking about and have no interest in ever looking up or reading anything about, that means nothing too. Although it's all linked. That's all linked, and they just don't care. They don't know. They don't care. It's like an information black hole, and it's just something they'll never know, and they don't care. But it's literally worse than Watergate by 100 times. And I'm sure they all know what Watergate was, but they conveniently have no fucking idea what the fake elector scheme is. Insane. Insane times. What time is it now? 1 o'clock? Almost 1 o'clock. This is a pretty nice camera. I
stopped using it for a while, but it is pretty nice. I kind of wish that I could stream on X, but I'm not paying Elon any money to stream on his platform. My friend pays him $8 a month to have her blue check mark, and I think that's insane. But she wants followers, and that's the way to get them, is to pay Elon. It's gonna be funny when Elon makes Trump a partner in X. There's more of that inappropriate content on X that shouldn't be there, but it's just always there. And nobody mentions it ever. Because Elon is infallible and everything he does is perfect, even if his website is a cesspool. A cesspool of immorality and illegal behavior. Cool, alright. Oops, wrong button. I think, I'm trying to gauge the internet connection, but I don't know enough about electronics. I really don't. It was never a thing that interested me in any way. I remember being a kid, getting our first computer. It was like Windows 95, and it was so unimpressive. It was so slow, so clunky looking. I just thought it was so stupid. Playing Roller Coaster Tycoon on it was the only thing we ever did. Now we have laptops, and the only problem with the laptops is that you need to have them constantly connected to the power source, or they run out of battery as quickly as like an hour. And that's unacceptable. Hassan does this for 8 hours a day. I guess he has breaks where he just watches video. I'm not really sure how that works. Like, could I literally just pull up a YouTube video right now and just listen to it and react to it, and that would be totally cool? Maybe, I don't know. That seems a bit weird, but maybe. I don't think I would do that though. I don't like that. Wow, so I did start this at like 11 o'clock, because we just hit 2 hours, and it's 1 o'clock. Interesting. That's pretty cool.
This camera, I don't know, you'll be able to see it. This camera is what I used to film everything. Unless it's a short. Shorts were always filmed on my phone. But this camera This camera with a case like this was always in the water with me. It worked pretty well. So it goes like this. Like that. And then the back snaps. Apply pressure. Push down. And if you do it right, it snaps into place. It works for marine environments too. That's how I filmed all the woodland Flossie videos. Those are pretty nice. But I think it's hard to come up with new ideas for those. I've noticed that once you've fleshed out your general worldviews, it kind of gets boring. It takes a while to flesh those out. But once you've fleshed out your worldviews, things don't really branch that well. They branch a little bit, but they don't branch that much. So it just kind of gets boring. That's the thing with like PhDs though. People that do a PhD, they spend so much time on one specific thing, and they spend like 5 years on it or whatever, and ultimately, nobody even reads their stuff. Like you see how many people access their papers, and it might be like 2,000 if they're lucky or something. It's crazy. If you just take this small YouTube channel, in comparison, it has like 67,000 views almost. 67,000 views versus 2,000 views. Ultimately, I have more impact, even if they spend 20 years teaching college kids how to think. 67,000, still much higher. Imagine having 67,000 students. I've noticed people don't comment on my videos. I don't care, but it does show me one thing. It shows me that nobody feels comfortable interjecting any bit of information. Like, I feel like people just watch my videos and just leave it alone. Like the extras videos, they just leave alone, and the more follow videos, they especially leave alone. So ultimately, it just serves the idea that you're all alone anyway. If you think you're going to go on YouTube and develop a community, maybe with certain topics, not with this one. This one is very isolatory. It's too hardcore. It's too real. It leads to things people don't want to talk about. So ultimately, you're alone in the experience. That's okay. For some people can't handle that. I spend a lot of time reading people's arguments, reading what people say. It's a good way to pass the time. People ask me what I do. I read from this phone. People's conversations, people's arguments. Keeps you sharp. You don't need to read books, just read people's arguments. It's almost like a lawyer, I guess. I want to know how many times this stream has been recommended. It should be like 50. YouTube gives me no love because they don't like the posts that I make. They don't mind the videos, but they don't like the posts, I can tell. But the posts are fun, so I don't care. The posts are just taken from my Twitter, but I feel like they should be seen, so I post them here too. Let's see. See, I don't understand how that's possible. People literally just spend all day just posting on this X platform. That's it. That's people's jobs. How do I get one of those jobs? I guess you have to be a woman. A naked woman. Yeah. That's nice. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Just scrolling Twitter quickly. I like to do that just so I get a feel for numbers. How many impressions people get per unit time. To know what number makes you successful. What you need to be considered successful. because they don't make information really available. It's really hard to get specific information. Like, have you ever noticed if you really want specific information, it's really, really difficult to find. Like, it's almost impossible. You need to know somebody to get specific information. And even then, I wouldn't really trust that person because most people are not that smart. So they'll probably tell you the wrong thing because they don't understand your question. Or they don't want to spend the time to actually look up the information. That's another big problem. I feel like older people, maybe people born in the 70s or the 80s, were better at just being, I don't know, like isolatory and maybe having like a simpler, stupider vision of life. Like the people now, it's not that the social interactions are off. They have different expectations of what it should be. Like, there's an expectation of complexity that I don't think other generations have. Like, if you told me to, like, have a job here and then go to the same house with the same people every single day and just do that every day, living here and do nothing else and just watch TV when you get home, I would tell you no. I would tell you absolutely not. That would never, ever happen. But a lot of people, especially older people, are okay with that. Like, they grew up in a different experience. That experience is no longer existing, so things changed. Hmm. Things change, but yet they don't change at all. Things change for other people a lot. If you're disabled, things don't change for you. That's the problem. You're stuck in a situation that's timeless. The time limit is your lifespan, and that is a messed up thought to think about. Other people, if they don't like something, they endure it for like 6 months, a year, 2 years, something like that. If you're disabled and you don't like something, you endure it for the rest of your life. Till you decide that you no longer want to play. And that's a messed up thought. But that's the way it is. That's what makes the psychology of it so I don't know if it's complex, but it's unfixable. It's unfixable, and it leads to a predictable outcome. Anyway, there's not much to say about it. It's just interesting in that one regard. Mm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I think that's gonna be it, because I think I'm done talking for now. We can do this again though. I don't know if we do this every day, but we can do this again. I would like to know how laggy it is, but it's not like it matters, because I can't change it anyway. So, you get what you get. It is what it is. Alright. See you later. See you later.